All right, so kind of who you are, so we don't have to go through all of
Right.
that. First, I want you to talk to me about what you've seen so far and how you're feeling about what you've read.
Everything I've seen is, there's some new to it, but there's some I knew was coming. Just some things that come out, when you see a man talking about your son like that, you just kind of have to grit your teeth. Like I say, I've dealt with worse. I've already known worse. I've had worse happen. Right now, I'm just kind of going through the motions.
Okay, well, how do you feel specifically knowing that these messages were sent to Amber, and according to officers, she didn't do anything to remove Wilder from imminent danger?
Here's the thing on that too, though. There's a lot of LOLs in there. There's a lot of laughing. There's a lot of kind of almost being humorous about it. You know what I mean? So a lot of those that, but don't get me wrong. You're saying that you want to put a dog collar on my son, things like that. Put him in what kind of a pen, something like that. Like I say, I briefly read over it. There's things that a man shouldn't be able to say about another man's child. There's things that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, if that's his dark sense of humor and that's how they had always joked with each other about other things, I could see it coming about being like, they're just kind of, joking back and forth and nothing serious at that point. Don't get me wrong, though. It ended up being serious, but with her knowledge of it being like that, I don't know if she knew how serious that was at that time. Because like I say, as this dude is, he's a coward anyway. He tries to manipulate whoever he can. He's gonna take whatever stride he can with any person he can. And I think he was just still trying to break down walls to where he could do more and more and more because, oh, this is just me being funny. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings after that. Oh, please come back, let me explain type things. You know what I mean? Like, what's that full context of the conversation? What conversation do they have in person, things like that on other times that lead up to these things? Like I said, we've had hard conversations, me and Amber. We've had real hard conversations, sitting there talking and yelling and having it out, you know what I mean? And there's been a few of those where it's like I say, there's things I still don't understand from me being me, but being a woman that was with Bubba McDaneil and has Bubba McDaneil's child, who wants to be with, who is going to be there, try to be with Bubba McDaneil's, be his stepdad to his son? There's not a whole lot of guys jumping up to try to get that role. So, will you take face value for a lot of things that somebody's saying? Of course. So.
First and foremost, I want to ask you, in you saying this, should I assume, or are you saying that you are supporting Amber, with these?
Oh, I still support my wife. I still support my wife. I'm, like I said, we wouldn't have gotten married if we hadn't had these conversations. We wouldn't have been married still if we hadn't worked these things through to where we understand each other there, to where we understand what was going on, to where we've broken down to the little bits of things there on different stuff. And I live with her day in, day out. I see how she really is now. It's a changed person. There's not a person that really thinks these things are going to happen. It's not a person that's really going through life wanting my son to be gone or have anything happen to him and really acting as she does now. Like, you hold up an act for so long. This is not an act. She lives a totally different life. She's a different person since these type things happen. This is a tragedy. The bad part is, though, is my son is who paid the price for all these things. And there's only really one person to blame for all this, and that's James Staley. James Staley killed my son. James Staley was the one that's saying all these things. James Staley manipulated her to stay there. You know what I mean? James Staley is the one that we're taking the light off of, and it's all him. Nobody thinks you're going to kill your 2-year-old. Nobody. So.
Okay. And the point that you mentioned when you said, obviously, the goal of this is to get justice for
Correct.
Wilder and
Correct.
what happened to him. Officials believe right now that had Amber left the situation, then that would not have happened to Wilder. What's your stance on that?
My stance on that is probably the same. If she'd have left him and gone, we'd be okay we'd still have a son. But here's the thing too, though, is like I said, this man was a manipulator. She did leave at times. He'd beg her to come back. She did get enough of it. He'd beg her to come back. I'm sorry, I missed my medication. I'm sorry, I was just drinking. I'm sorry, I did this, I did that, and take her on some kind of a hiatus, do everything, buy stuff. Any way he could do another manipulation to make her stay a little bit longer, it happened. So it's one of those things. She did try to leave here and there. There were times that she left and blocked him. He would find other numbers and get a hold of her. There are times that she tried to make a volley for it, and he was, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen anymore type things. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of guys lining up to be that guy in her life, And why wouldn't you try to work it out with somebody like that? I mean, I understand it fully. Like, there's nobody jumping up to be my son's stepfather. There was nobody trying to do that. And the one guy that's trying to do it and saying he'll do it again and again and again, even if he's talking some kind of craziness, he tries to make up for it on another side of things to manipulate him to stay there to get his way. He wants his way. So I feel like it was just another manipulation is how she came back around.
Okay. Well, here's a question I know a lot of people are going to ask, and I actually want to know this.
Okay.
Bubba. Why do you believe she deleted those messages instead of being upfront about them in the beginning?
See, okay, so anything that's been asked, she's answered. She's had a lawyer with her at the very beginning, but stopped using a lawyer. Told them, ask me anything. You've got the phones. They had phones. They had everything that was there. They had the capabilities to open hers up, pull anything up that they want. They have all these things. She answered every question that they had for her. Even whenever she went in Friday, from what I understand, she was telling them, tell me what I said and I'll tell you. Tell me what's going on. I'll let you know. You know what I mean? She was telling, but they wouldn't let her know. And now we're seeing it like this. Don't get me wrong. Those are things that, yeah, you're going to probably try to block out, things like that. But at the same time, if she was asked about it, I believe she'd have told the truth on it. So, and that's the part of it is we've had worse things that we've talked about in person to each other and different things that have come through from him since then. And we've talked about it like, why is this? Why was that? And it's just, like I say, this is par for the course, to tell you the truth. The only thing is back then she believed he had her best interests in mind. Now she knows better.
Right. There was mention in the evidence here, and I can't seem to pull it up right now, where she talked about you in the messages.
Called me a sperm donor and said that it wasn't a vagina.
Didn't get certain things from her, got it from you.
Yeah.
As a father, looking on these things, as now her husband, what do you have to say about this?
I'll say this, it hurts to see. That all hurts to see, but I'll say this, how many exes have you talked about before? What have you said about exes that weren't really true, but you just trying to make up an excuse for the next person that's there at that time? I've done it. I've done it a lot. I said, even the girl I was with in between while me and Amber weren't together, I even told Amber to her face, I said, look at my upgrade. You know what I mean? Like, you try to hit different things. You think different ways. It's your ex at that time. So, I mean, I understand. And she's got a man who's supposedly supposed to be the bigger man, things. He's a full-on coward, and she just didn't get to see it yet.
Obviously, these are very serious.
They're very
crimes.
serious.
One's punishable up to, 20 years?
20 years, yeah.
What are you all hoping for? You said that you're standing by her. So is this justice for Amber and the justice for Wilder thing?
Here's the thing, though. It's not a justice for Amber. It's always justice for Wilder. No matter what happens, it's constantly justice for Wilder. She knew that she'd have to possibly pay some kind of price for being there. We've talked about this for years. We thought it'd be earlier than this, to tell you the truth. Like I said, that's why I think that the timing of all this coming out is pretty convenient for everything. The convenience of everything happening this week that's happened with the civil trial and the criminal cases right now, real convenient to me. I don't like it. I think the town's got something to do with it, and I'll just leave it going like that, and they can't convince me otherwise. But at the same time, it's always justice for Wilder. It's not about me. It's not about Amber. It's not about anything but making James Staley pay the price that he took our son from us. He took a life. He took a 2-year-old's life. He's the biggest coward. Even the gangsters of gangsters don't let people mess with children. You know what I'm saying? And you're a coward all the way through if your name's James Staley III.
My final thing is to wrap this segment up. Your Facebook post, I know just now you said you're going to touch on it a little bit. You said something about buttered up some hands.
Oh, I'm quite certain somebody in the town got their hand buttered. Oh yeah, I feel like everybody's been paid off here and there at different times. Oh yeah, like I'm not gonna lie about it. That's the thing is they can sit here and say, oh no, that doesn't happen. Shh, we in corrupt Wichita Falls, Texas. You know what I mean? Anybody can be bought for any price. I'm telling you, I don't believe nothing on none of that it just came to be. Like I say, it's real convenient right now. Somebody's hands got buttered. It just is what it is.
Okay. And you said that you saw these messages. Amber tell you about all these messages before this came out today?
No, I just saw those today. As the affidavit came out, I saw those. But we've had hard conversations, not necessarily about those in specific, things like that, but we've had conversations, like I say, and we've had conversations where they were yelling at each other too, that were things that were just said like that has been told to the police about things that I consider just as bad, just as damning, just as harming that she's admitted to. So the witch hunt right now is on. So it just is what it is. She'll have to pay her price, and she knew that. We're gonna stand there. I've got her back, like I say, because nobody in the world thinks that they're gonna kill your son. Nobody thinks that. That's just is what it is. And she didn't kill him. She didn't have anything to do with killing him. Can they charge her with endangerment? Sure, go ahead. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we understand that she's not the murderer. You know what I mean? She's not the one that killed my son. When it comes down to it, one person is to blame for all this.
I know I said that was the last one, but this is not
Oh, yeah.
I promise.
No worries.
Okay. If Amber had revealed those messages, if she didn't delete the messages, if she didn't get a new phone, James Staley would have been arrested way sooner than he did.
No.
That's what officers say.
They're liars.
Okay, tell me why you think that.
They are absolutely lying, because at that point they tried to tell us that they needed more evidence that was conclusive upon my son, conclusive upon the evidence that they had. They've got blood. They have fingernail clippings. They have all these other things that they had all that time, and they still tried to say, oh, we can't get him, but yet a couple of messages are going to do it. No, you're a liar. You're a liar and a sissy. And I mean, I'll stand in front of you and we can bang hands about it. I don't care.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Touch on?
Nope.
Any questions, Brandon?